Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Mask and Cowl. This is our ninth or 10th episode. Is this number 10? This might be number 10. I should have checked that right before I started. Maybe I'm going to restart this. I don't know. Whatever.
We are. This is episode 10. Episode
Episode
10.
10. That's exciting. Exciting stuff. Yeah, so 10th episode. Can't wait to get to our 52nd episodes. We can do like an annual thing, or like not an annual thing, but like a year in celebration type deal. Um,
You.
We haven't really had much time to do anything else, so this is just gonna be kind of like more of a free form. Maybe talk about more personal stuff or something. I don't know. We'll just kind of see how it goes, and we'll just talk about whatever we feel like talking about in the world of nerd junk and culture. Um, yeah. Since our last episode, I've been working like every day, but I did use that time to I listened to the first audiobook for Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, with Andy Serkis reading.
How is how? Well, I guess you're going to talk about it, but like everyone says how there's a. Is it three books for Lord of the Rings, or is it
There's
one
three
book
books
that
for
they
Lord
did?
of the Rings, and Hobbit is one book. And then
Okay,
there's
but they
also the
did a
Silmarillion.
book,
There may be other ones, but
but they did a book per movie for the Lord of the Rings
yes,
trilogy.
yeah.
Okay,
Which a lot of
so how to
people,
stack up?
um, well, okay, so yeah, I guess we could just go ahead and get right into that. So I've always been I wouldn't say like a Lord of the Rings hater. I've never been able to understand it. And fantasy is like my favorite genre. I love medieval fantasy. Um uh and it just I don't know, I've been talking with friends about this like while I was reading it and stuff like that. And that are like big Lord of the Rings fans, and I'm always like making jokes about like, oh, the most powerful, wizard in the whole series, it basically is the equivalent of like the most powerful thing we see him do is basically the equivalent of this, like that, like whoop de do. But I do not remember the second and third movie like at all. It's been so long since I've watched them. I'm going to watch them soon. I'm gonna do like a rewatch. I have tried several times to do a rewatch, and every time I watch Fellowship and then I fall off.
Yeah.
A lot of people say they don't like Fellowship. Like, I don't know. I definitely have a lot more appreciation for it now because like there's so much like I mean obviously Tolkien is great. Like it's never been like a slight against Tolkien. It's just like the story itself just doesn't hit me that hard, I guess. Like I see what it's doing. I understand what it's doing. I get the appeal of the Hobbits. Like there's so much like that's basically near perfect for what it's trying to do. I guess like you have like the kind of the reluctant hero's journey with Frodo and whatever. Also, I don't like Frodo. Like I love Sam.
I don't either.
Sam is
I
great.
think that the I think that's a big I think that's one of the biggest problems with it is Frodo is
Yes,
not a likable character.
in my opinion,
I
yeah. But
think that
apparently people love
because
him. But yeah, no,
I
I
don't
don't
get
like
that.
Frodo. But I like Bilbo in in
I
the
love
Hobbit
Bilbo.
movies. Yeah, but I don't
The
know how
Hobbit
much of
movies
that
are
goes.
better in my opinion.
I kind of agree, but apparently they're farther from the source material. But I also like that they took.
Who
I
cares?
mean, like, I feel like Lord of the Rings fans would want 9 movies. I'm sure the production company wouldn't want to make it, but like, I think that like when you have this super big dense book, breaking it up into 3 movies, it actually like lets you tell the story better. Um, but they added stuff in the Hobbit that people don't like or whatever. As someone who's never read it, I don't mind. But I understand that critique for sure because I would feel the same way about things that I do like. So, but I will say a big thing for me, like I mean, okay, first of all, I love Sam. Sam's the goat. Sam is just awesome.
Samwise.
Samwise, um, and like Frodo is the worst Hobbit. Like Merry and
He
Pippin are
is.
also great.
Merry and Pippin are
Frodo
awesome.
Frodo is just annoying. Aragorn
And he's the
is
one
great.
guy. Yeah.
Yeah,
Aragorn is too I like Aragorn, but he's almost too much of the cookie cutter hero
he's just
where
the
there's
perfect. He's just perfect. Like he's the perfect
I know, and
hero. Yeah.
to be honest, it doesn't do much for me. I'm like, okay, but I don't know.
I like. I mean, I
To
do
me,
like it.
Aragorn's never done much for me.
Yeah. I to me, I like. I'm hoping I'm really gonna enjoy. I think it's the third one more, where he kind of really has his own stuff going on.
Return of the King.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna enjoy that one more because I like him. I like Sam. Um, I've never liked Gandalf, which is like a big problem, right?
I like Gandalf.
I've never liked Gandalf. My problem with the Lord of the Rings has always been the magic system. I'm a big critic of the magic system because I've been talking with some friends about this over the weekend while I was reading this, and one friend of mine that knows like a ton of stuff about it. I'm not saying like he is right either way, but the way he's explaining it to me is that like Lord of the Rings is not high fantasy, it's low fantasy. But then later on he said, okay, it is high fantasy, it's just got like really restricted magic. I don't know. I don't like how magic works in Lord of the Rings. Or at least the way that it seems to work on the surface. But I will say this: the lore is fantastic. I'm a big lore guy. I love my Dark Souls games. I love my Bloodborne games. Elden Ring, like those are all big lore thing. I love lore, especially like fantasy lore. I love
When
it.
you're talking about lore, are you talking about when they reference like because of the battle of so and so? Like, are you talking
It's
about like the
it's not just
history?
about the like it. Like yes, lore is like all those things compound. It's like world building. It's history. It's power scaling ish kind of. Excuse me. Um, like for me, like okay, so I I don't want to get into this too much because you're but this is the big like the first hour of this audiobook was all lore, and I was really enjoying it. And then it started getting to the story, and I was like, okay, well, but also I'm like, I know this. I've watched Fellowship like 10 times, trying to get into it. Like I know this story pretty well, and to be honest, well, they the movies, from my understanding, and I see this somewhat with Fellowship, the movies do a very they're like for as short as they are,
Very
they do a very very good job of adapting with slight tweaks, which in my opinion a lot of the tweaks seem like they are for the worse though in my opinion. Like
like what?
uh well, for one thing, in my dumb person, like my fault understanding of who and what Sauron was, I thought maybe okay, he's just disembodied now because after he lost the ring or whatever, and he is the eye or whatever. But no, he's a guy. He's just in the tower. Or I don't know if it's the tower, but his fortress, or like he exists. There's a physical guy there. The Eye of Sauron is like I think that comes more into play in actually I'm assuming book two because it's barely in referenced at all in Fellowship, but and I haven't started book two yet, but in the movies it's said or implied or like either heavily implied or straight up like said like Frodo's not supposed to wear the ring, like as little as possible because like it it alerts Sauron that he's doing it, and then
His
also
whereabouts?
and it tells him where he is basically, and you can kind of pinpoint him. That's not a thing in the book. Like that's why because it always
Oh,
bothered me. I'm like Gollum wore the ring a lot. That's like why he
yeah.
has like he's been wearing it for like who knows how long, or like using it. He used it for to spy on people. He used it for a ton of different things. Bilbo used it several times. Like how is it not until Frodo gets it? And it's because and I think they do explain this in the movie. I'm just really dense, but the only reason that Sauron even knows the ring still exists or is whatever is because after Bilbo in the events of the Hobbit steals the ring from Gollum, or I guess rightfully take I don't know, he gets the ring from Gollum. Gollum sets out and tries to hunt him down, but Bilbo stupidly gave him his name and the name of the Shire. So Gollum is like searching the land for this, and he goes to Mordor because he's like a evil-ish creature apparently, and so he gets drawn to Mordor while looking for the ring, and they capture him, and Sauron's interrogating him, and I do remember this in the movie, like you hear him like screaming like Baggins or whatever, because like Sauron got it out of him, and so
Yeah.
that's when the whole events start happening, and he's like, oh, this some hobbit named Baggins in the Shire has my ring. We're gonna go get that, and so that's why he's pursuing him, but Bilbo can just use the ring. Well, not use it like Sauron could, but he can use it the other way. But excuse me. my my biggest problem with the Lord of the Rings has always been how like very subtle or just non-existent or very weak, I guess, the magic is or seems. Um, like the ring just doesn't seem like that big of a deal, to be honest. Uh, and I mean, no one's gonna watch this, but in case anyone does, you can correct me on any of this stuff. I'm trying to find it out. Is the thing, and that's still my biggest problem with this, even after the book, which I did enjoy. There was some parts that were really hard to get through, but for the most part, I did really enjoy it. It's mainly the like the singing. At first, I'm like, okay, there's songs, this folky songs, cool, but like, it's a 22-hour long, a little over 22-hour long audiobook, and I swear 5 of those hours are singing. There's so much music, and like when you're reading it is one thing, but when Andy Serkis is doing different voices singing these like folk music, like folk lore or like fake fairy tale music or whatever type of deal, it's kind of cute
They
when
use
it's
just kind of the
quaint,
same.
but then when it like when you hear it a lot and it's like I don't know, it whatever. But anyway, so the ring is like
I'm kind of curious, as somebody who's watching the Rings of Power right now, um, it's what's also, this is gonna sound so stupid,
I
especially for those who might be huge Lord of the Rings or Hobbit fans. Who's the Lord of the Rings? Because that's the name of the title, and
is
I'm
it
watching
Lord of
Rings of
the Rings
Power.
or Lord of the Ring?
Lord of the Rings, I think.
I believe. Okay, no, it is Lord of the Rings. You are correct. I thought it was
So
the Ring,
you
but
find
Sauron is the Lord of
there
the
is
Ring, from my
no, he's
understanding.
not. At least as okay, so as of season 2 in Rings of Power, the guy who actually made the rings is the Lord of the Rings, and it's not Sauron. Kind of.
So, and yeah, well, in the book, at least Fellowship, they refer to Sauron as the Lord of the Ring because, like, I don't know if Sauron. I'm assuming Sauron didn't make the other rings, but Sauron makes the one ring, which gives him dominion
Okay.
over the other rings, and that makes him the Lord over the rings.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does that
There
make sense?
well, so I'm like halfway through season 2 of Rings of Power,
I
and like
definitely,
there's several rings that have
yeah,
been made, but not the one ring to rule them all.
right, yeah.
So that's what I'm like, I don't know how it's gonna go, but it's definitely been eye-opening to see like I've never asked myself like who's the Lord of the Rings. It's just like, oh, Lord of the Rings franchise. Like I've never really, but there's actually a specific scene where he says somebody tells the guy who made him, he's just like, you are now the Lord of the Rings. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so stupid. There's actually somebody who's actually the Lord of the Rings. Um, but yeah, that was basically it.
Yeah, so I'm very interested in that show honestly because it seems like that's a prequel, right? That's like, well, yeah, obviously because of what you're saying.
It's prequel to everything,
that's
yeah.
way earlier. And I've seen like little tiny bits of not really spoilers, but like I've seen pictures of people like Sauron is in it, like younger Sauron. I think, pretty sure.
What did you see?
Unless it's a prequel, unless I saw like a flashback that's in the Lord of the Rings movies that I don't remember. But like, because I think I looked up like a power scaling list or whatever, like a list of like most powerful people in the Lord of the Rings universe, because I was having this conversation with friends about like the magic just doesn't seem there, right? And that's like my problem because
Very subtle.
the ring does very little for the people who wear it that are not Sauron. For those people, like, it technically doesn't turn them invisible. It like puts them either in the wraith world or halfway in the wraith world so that they disappear basically. Um, and but to everyone else, it looks like they turned invisible basically. Um, which but and it also like corrupts them or whatever. I don't know. It's kind of implied that it may gives like long life. Like it has other like weird benefits like here and there, but like the only person who can actually like wield it for power really is Sauron because it's like got his essence in it. I don't know if this is explained. Is the Rings of Power about? Okay, so like I said, I've kind of gotten some spoiler stuff, and I'm just talking speculation here, so this isn't spoilers. And I don't want you to tell me if I'm right, but we can kind of talk about this. But if I don't, as far as I know, Gandalf is not in Rings of Power, unless there's a character who people think is Gandalf, is what I've heard. But he's not. He's
I
called like
don't
the Stranger
know.
or something.
Yeah, I don't know. As far as I'm into season 2, we still don't know.
But I think like unless they didn't update the list, I don't think even currently where the show is at that we know that.
Yeah,
But
I
it's
think
kind
so.
of
Here's the
like
thing with
thought that he
that
might
is,
be.
I I think it'll probably end up being Gandalf. What would be funny if it turns out to be like Saruman or something like that, like a twist.
So Saruman's
Um,
not in it either.
no, I mean, I don't know if there's anybody in it. The only person in it, there's two people in it that are from the franchise, and it's Galadriel and Elrond.
Okay, that makes sense because they're
Um,
very old, but
El
also
yeah,
so a big
they're
thing that
elves.
was explained to me by my friend who's like a big fan or whatever. Um, in my mind, I was like, okay, what's the big deal with Sauron? Like, I understand he's like a big, evil overlord type dude, but for me, and even still, this is a problem for me with like everyone's like, oh man, we can't let this guy get the ring. Basically, the world's over at that point. He'll just never lose again. I mean, I'm like, we've already seen him lose. Like the opening scene or whatever is him losing with the ring. So, and I'm sure that was hard to do, but like, and I understand. Like we go back to bad times or worse times, like significantly worse times. But like, that's not like game over. It doesn't seem
End of
like.
world.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, and I'm like, that's always been my problem. Is just like, I don't know, like, and that's just it's such a nitpick. But for me, it's a weird disconnect. And like,
Listen,
like I understand that that's just a nitpick.
I mean I know what you're saying because I'm not a Lord of the Rings defender. There's just something I don't know what it is. And this is the thing. It's similar to what you said before. I think in the last time we talked about like you watch Lord of the Rings and you want to buy it, like you want to
I
like it.
want to
You watch it
like
like
this so bad.
I want this to hit me the way it's hitting the Lord of the Rings fans that I know
Yes,
that
because
are
it's
like
supposed to be the
Tolkien's
best.
so good. Like this is amazing. You just don't understand cinema. And then like I'm waiting for it, and also I don't hate it. I'm just like it's good,
And
but
like,
I don't see the great.
and by no means is Tolkien like the problem or better. Like Tolkien is insane. Like the world building
Yeah.
and the lore is I part of it's just like I'm not as interested in the story. I like the story of the Hobbit better than the story of the Lord of the
Yep.
Rings so far. Like the actual story of like to me that's just more appealing. I guess like the tale of Lord of the Rings is a bigger deal, but like if you want a more focused thing with the Hobbit thing with the Hobbits being like the Hobbit kind of does what Lord of the Rings does. Like I hate that I say like
I
so
think
much. So by the way, but
I think I think The Hobbit is first of all, Bilbo is like as a main protagonist, he's awesome. He's amazing.
yeah, Bilbo's
But
great.
then the people around him, there's no perfect person. No offense to Aragorn and Legolas and Gimli, but those guys are all perfect in Lord of the Rings. There's no
They're like the
really
perfect
depth to their
archetype of
characters.
what that class, like the fantasy class, is supposed to be. You have your elf ranger, you have your dwarf like warrior type thing. You have
But I'm
your
also talking like just as people. There's no shortcomings by them. Like in The Hobbit, though,
yeah, that's true. That's true.
is it Thorin? Thorin finally gets to his place. Like at the beginning of the Battle of Five Armies, he's finally kingdom over the mountain, and he's infected by the gold sickness, the greed that his grandfather had. And it's just like even somebody like him, who's supposed to be like he's not Aragorn, but he's the Aragorn of those movies. Even he is susceptible to that. Um, I
And then
love those Hobbit movies.
you get Boromir
You get depth on
in the Lord of the Rings, and like he
Boromir
just
is great.
feels super one dimension. And I mean, I don't know. To me, in the book he's better, but like still, like in the book I felt like, I mean, I knew what was coming because I've seen the movies, but like I felt like okay, this guy is trying. Like in the movie, to me, the whole time I'm like, this guy's just looking for an opportunity. Like this guy's just a jerk the whole time, kind of deal. Um, like
Well, to
he's
me,
like
that's
in
what.
it, but excuse me, he's in it, but he's a little bit he just kind of he has like that like hesitancy slash like selfishness or whatever, or like his need slash. It's not even just selfishness because, like, to be honest, like he's trying to do it for what he thinks is right. So I get that, but he's a lot more. I feel like his development's a lot better in the book.
I
Which
think
of course,
Boromir is I think Boromir is better than Aragorn. In my opinion, he's a better character because, as I said, Boromir, you see that side where he's not perfect, but he's choosing to do right at the end to still try and save the hobbits. Aragorn and
I don't know,
Legolas and
I do like
Gimli,
Aragorn because Aragorn is like, I mean, like there's so much cool, like I don't know, for me the stuff
he's
that appeals to me or whatever, like like he has the, like I haven't gotten to this yet. They haven't really touched on it in the books yet, so I'm trying to remember because again I'm familiar with the first book now and I'm familiar with the first movie. The rest of them I've seen like once and then that's it. But like he doesn't he have like
you've
a
only
for
seen the movies one.
like the second and third one probably, and it was like in college. I don't
Wow.
remember it. Um, doesn't he have like a forbidden like love thing with one of the elves?
I don't even remember. I know what you're talking about. I don't know what she is. It didn't. I didn't care for it. It just didn't mean anything
Like
to
to
me.
be that interesting, like he's got such like Boromir is like a dude. It seems like anyway, like he's a dude from like a country that, or like a kingdom or whatever that's like they're tough guys. They're good, sturdy guys. They're warriors. Um, and then like and he's from like I think he's from like the main family there or whatever and all that. Then you got Aragorn, who's like the only one left. He's like out on his own. He's like a grungy ranger or whatever. But he's like the diamond in the rough or whatever. Like, but he's got the kingly presence or whatever. Like, this is the guy that should be king, right? But he's like this grungy ranger dude that you don't know that yet. He's just like kind of like a.
But he's too perfect for somebody in that role.
I don't think so. I like him being that. Like I like that he's like that guy, and I like how he, um, very quickly earns Frodo. Like Frodo likes the whole party, but the only people that he like already trusts like vehemently halfway through, the first book, is Gandalf, the other hobbits, and Aragorn. The other like he likes Gimli and Legolas and Boromir, but like he especially loves Aragorn, and it's because like Aragorn is just such a Chad, like he's such a
That's what
bro.
that's what I'm saying. There's not. I don't see depth with Aragorn, and that's why I don't care much for him.
I get that.
And with all the jokes,
I have
I
yeah,
don't. I
I got
mean,
so many nitpicks
people.
with Lord of the Rings that yeah. I don't want to like
Yeah.
be like,
I
oh,
mean,
but yours is
listen.
stupid.
Same.
Nah, yours is fine. Yours is
And I
good.
think we're both saying the same thing of like they're good. They're just we're waiting for the great that we're told to hit us. And I've watched them enough where it should have hit me by now. And like I just watched it like 2 years ago, fully aware, open-minded, trying to be like, let me absorb it.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's still the same for me.
Doesn't
I can't do it.
does our brother who lives back home,
He
does
loves them.
he likes them? Okay.
Yeah.
And
He
our
says they're
uncle was
better.
a big
He
fan too.
thinks. Yeah, he thinks he thinks I'm stupid for putting Hobbit to, which a lot of people would think I'm stupid for that.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, I'm fine with being wrong about that, but like it hasn't. I need to rewatch all of them. I'm tempted. I think I'm gonna watch Fellowship tonight. I got like some chores to do that'll have me sitting like in place. So I think I'm gonna do that while I'm working on that. But a big thing for me is I'm not as invested. I understand it's kind of almost it's like one of the perfect ways to tell like the story they're trying to tell, but for some reason it just doesn't hit me super well. I don't care that much about hobbits. I like the hobbits, but like centering it around the hobbits, I don't know. I just like it's one way to do it. It's just a little bit less interesting than other ways they could have done it, I guess. And even with the
I
Hobbit,
think
I feel like the Hobbit itself, like just the Hobbit, is like a slightly better or a more appealing to me version, where you got the one, so it focuses on it. Um,
I think
whereas
also
also like the world, what I want to say is like the world and the world building and stuff like that. All the stuff that I'm finding through googling questions that I have. that are not told you in the books, as far as or at least not where I'm at or whatever. Um, like all of that stuff is super interesting, but none of that has to do with what's going on. Like what is Gandalf? What is Saruman? What is Sauron? Do you know what they are? Because that's like
Wizard?
super.
Oh,
Well,
star? Are they star people?
I don't know what star people are. Are star people in Rings of Power?
The stranger, he says he's from the stars or something. He doesn't know.
Okay. Cause I don't know if this is like allegory or I assume it's allegory. And again, someone's probably gonna like if anyone knows, they're probably gonna tell me I'm wrong. But what my friend said is they're essentially this world or this like Tolkien's version of angels, and then Sauron's like a fallen angel, and like they essentially, according to what I'm saying, like have limitless power. And I think they were put into like old people bodies to like restrain them a little bit.
Limit.
So that's why like
To nerf
Gandalf
him.
doesn't like seem to, he's just always like an old dude.
Tolkien had to nerf him.
But yeah, but like they have a apparently somewhat like unlimited power. But the way that my friend explained it, and again this could be wrong, is that magic in Tolkien's world can only be used against like you can only expend magic or whatever like in
Against an evil force.
well no against like an equal thing or whatever. So like whatever Gandalf is going up against, he can only expend enough magic that it is like equal to it. So in my mind, hypothetically, that's really cool. My retort to that though was, so you're telling me when you've got these two like super powerful, limitless, angelic beings or whatever, when Saruman is bad on his tower and he's fighting Gandalf, the like you got two like all powerful beings basically. They're going at it, and the best thing they can do is just kind of throw each other around with telekinesis. Um, that's the like I don't know. It just I don't know. It just like what's the deal? Like we see him do that. I do like one person's explanation I saw that really put it in perspective to me. That does make me like it a lot more. Um, is against the Balrog at the end of Fellowship. Um, in the book, they change it in the movie, and it kind of doesn't have the same effect. It's, you know, the iconic "You shall not pass" or whatever. Um, in the book, he doesn't say "shall not"; he says "you cannot pass," and that's, from what my understanding, important because what he is doing is he's literally like using magic to make it so. He's not telling the Balrog this. He's like making reality to where like you cannot pass.
And in order for it to do that, the bridge has to collapse.
I guess basically he's making, and then his like staff like shatters when he does it or whatever. Like he's like expending like a insane. Also, from my understanding, again, the Balrog is the same type of entity as Gandalf. Like it's also they're Maiar or something like that. Um, uh, I forget what, I don't know how it's pronounced.
Eastar?
What? Not
Eastar?
no. Uh, yeah, Maiar. I could be pronouncing that wrong, but Sauron is one, Saruman's one, Gandalf is one, Saruman's one. The Balrog is one, but the Balrog is one that's been corrupted by, I think, the Dark Lord Mount, because there's like Sauron was like there's a person who turned Sauron. I forget his name.
Adar.
Um, I don't remember. But like there's Morgoth. Is it Morgoth?
Morgoth.
Yeah, Morgoth. I think maybe he turned the Balrog or whatever. But like, so that's why like it's like a big deal. In my mind, like always watching that movie, I'm like, what's the big? It's, you know, it's a lava. Like I get it. It's like a lava demon thing. It's gonna be like big, but like Gandalf's supposed to be like a top 3 wizard in the land. Like, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Like, and it shouldn't kill. But if you're like, okay, this is like a dark version of him, of like the same type of being, like it's on par with him. Okay, yeah, but like they don't tell me that. Just supposed to know it, I guess.
I agree. The magic is very inconsistent. I kind of, I don't even think about it like like when I'm watching movies. I'm not like, oh man, it really, like the only time I ever think about it is just like, dude, where were the Eagles the entire
Yeah,
time? Do they explain that in the books? I don't know.
I don't.
But
I don't know. I don't
to
think that
me
the
it's
Eagles
always
are. Well, I do think that the Eagles are not something that Gandalf can just summon or what or like whatever. Like the Eagles save him in the book. I thought that this was a Two Towers thing, but I guess I'm wrong. When Gandalf faces Sauron and they find out that Sauron's turned and he's bad guy now. Not Sauron, Saruman. Um, I thought that was in Two Towers, but that's just how unfamiliar with these stories I was. But that happens in Fellowship, and the way that he gets out is one of the Eagles shows up and offers him like a to give him a ride basically. So I don't
gotcha.
think that they are like at Gandalf's like request or whatever. I think that they're kind of like people. They're like beings that I'm sure like know Gandalf or whatever, and so maybe they just there wasn't a way to I don't know. I don't know. It. I feel like that was like a long time ago meme, but like why didn't you just ride the Eagles the whole way or like yeah, but at the
Well,
same time,
I'm I'm just like saying I think I always viewed the magic as like as needed it will be there.
yeah.
Like I think about in The Hobbit, um, when I don't know if you remember the trolls have they have some of the dwarves and they're about to like they're giant uh stone trolls or giant trolls, I don't know.
Are these the ones that
And
Gandalf
they
turns
can't
to stone?
yes, he breaks the
Those are in
stone and
Fellowship. I
splits it in
don't
half.
remember if they're in the. I don't remember if they're in the movie, but
They're
they
in
are
the
in the book.
Hobbit movies.
They're in the Fellowship
Okay.
book. They find those trolls,
Okay.
and they're like, "Oh, these are the ones
So they
from."
must have just implanted that story into the Hobbit movies.
No. It's from the Hobbit, but it's like, and I remember that from the Hobbit. But like in their journeys, they're like going through troll land and sneaking around, and the hobbits are like, "Oh no, watch out! There's trolls, run away!" And then Aragorn like sneaks up and he goes like, like smacks him or it's like a joke. He's like, see, they're harmless. And they're like, whoa, wait a minute. These are the ones from Bilbo's story. These are the ones that Gandalf turned
Mm,
to stone in that time. Yeah, so like, yeah, it's
yeah,
like an Easter egg to the Hobbit. Yeah, it's
that's
pretty cool. I
cool.
don't remember it being in the movie, but it was in the book. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So, but that case, like Gandalf, previous to that, was just like, all right, I'll see you guys later. I have my own task to do, and then randomly, when they're getting overrun by the trolls, he shows up and does that, and he's like, all right, I'm peacing out again.
Yeah, he's just like, I'm just gonna show up when it's super duper needed. And basically,
Yeah.
that's kind of the way that my friend said that the magic works. They're like they're not supposed to like Gandalf's a good being. Saruman was a good being. They're not supposed to intervene unless like absolutely necessary. But I'm like, how necessary is absolutely necessary? Like, would he be able to intervene if Sauron got the one? If Sauron got the one ring, also, I don't know, also, because like, man, I don't know. This is what's frustrating me, but I'm sure that it's there. I'm not saying that this is a problem in it. It's just a problem with my understanding of it. But so Sauron makes the one ring because he gets the training on how to make the rings or whatever from like the people that he apprenticed under or whatever. I think him and Saruman both have some of that training. But for some reason Saruman can't do it, but he's more familiar. But Gandalf got like different training, which is why Gandalf can't make a good ring or whatever for himself because he's like wood in nature and stuff. But Sauron made the one ring by making the ring in the Mount Doom or whatever, and then he put some of his power into it, which is why it's like bonded to him and it's specific. It's why it's so powerful, all this stuff or whatever. What I'm very curious of how it works, like because does that mean he loses some of it? Is that why he's not at like? Is that why he's weaker when he doesn't have the ring? So does putting the ring on put him on par with what he should be, or is it because they're technically limitless that he's limitless, but like they can't tap into it all the time? But then maybe he can tap into it when he has the ring. I don't know. But also, again, the ring, even for him, it seems like the only thing the ring does for him is basically give him control over the 9 men who have rings. It doesn't control the
But
elves. I don't think it controls the dwarves, or if it does, it's very inefficient in controlling them because it basically just makes them greedy, which they already are, or something like that. Again, I'm very new to this, but like it just like it seems like if you're really all that powerful, it just skips the step of intimidation. It just makes like this group, this pretty big substantial group of people, but this group do it. Also, I think aren't the nine, aren't they now the ring wraiths? So they're not even kings anymore. They don't have like control over the world and the powers or whatever. So I I don't I don't get what the threat is. Okay, there. I don't get what the big deal is. I don't. That's been my problem with Lord of the Rings this whole time. I don't. Magic sucks. Ah.
I think the fact that it just kind of drops with, I mean, they give you, like you said, they give you some lore, but they just kind of drop you in, and almost like they just hope that you fall in love enough with the characters that, everything else won't be that big of a deal. But in this case, it's. I think if Lord of the Rings was not such like a major credited franchise, we would look at these movies like very fondly. We'd be like, hey, you know what nobody's talking about? Like this was a solid, fantasy franchise. But because everybody thinks that they're the greatest thing since sliced bread, I think that's where we're a little bit more critical of it.
I also thought it
And
was
maybe
older.
because
To be
the
honest,
books are movies.
the books. I thought the books were like at least 100 years older. I thought they were like way old. They're like
No,
from
he
like
made them after World War One,
something. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
so 50s.
So I'm like, did we had fantasy stories before that, right? In my opinion, in my understanding, it was always like, oh, Lord of the Rings paved the way, which it did. Don't get me wrong. Lord of the Rings paved the way for that. Um, but I mean, okay, probably my favorite one, and this is as far as writing goes, it's nowhere close to Tolkien, right? Okay, I just want to put that out there. But as far as story goes, and the magic scaling and everything, like almost everything about it, I prefer to Lord of the Rings, and that's the Aragon books. And I know that's gonna be blasphemous, because especially the first one, because the first one he's like a 14 or 16-year-old
Great
kid when he
movies.
wrote it. There's only one movie and it's pretty bad.
I know.
Well, I think it's fine as a
John
standalone thing.
Malkovich.
As a standalone thing that's not really the movie, then I think it's fine. Honestly, it's a fun little family-friendly dragon movie. But Disney Plus supposedly is making a show with the actual writer of the books in charge. So he's been keeping a lot of the information very like close to the chest. But I'm very hopeful, but I'm very scared because if this doesn't go well, it needs like this series needs the Lord of the Rings treatment, like as far as like the production that goes into it. Like it needs big budget. Um,
I, for what scares me is that I've never read the books, but it scares me that it's Disney.
mhm.
This was like, I don't know if you'd want it, but HBO, they already done House of the Dragon, and they delve into fantasy enough where they kind of have their bearings in that area, and they might be able to take a darker tone. But with the books, I don't know if they're more lighthearted, and if so, maybe Disney can do a How to Train Your Dragon-esque job on it.
They're
Um,
not. They're
but
not. They're not How to Train Your Dragon, but they're not like Game of Thrones. Um, I would say honestly that in tone they're
are
very
they like
similar
Percy
to Lord of the
Jackson?
Rings. I would say that
Okay,
they're not as Percy Jackson are
kitty.
very like yeah, Percy Jackson. I enjoy the Percy Jackson books, but they are very like kind of kid friendly or youth focused books. Um, Whereas the Aragon books they're fine. I think they're good. They're great to be read as a kid or whatever. There's nothing like crazy. There's not like crazy gore. There's no like language or sex or anything like that in them. So like it would be fine to translate to Disney. I just don't know if I don't trust I do that is my problem is I don't trust Disney to put the effort in that this series needs.
It
Um,
This is gonna sound crazy, but maybe like with the right directors, it sounds like a project Netflix would do better. Like I didn't like The Witcher season one,
Probably.
but the people who played The Witcher liked The Witcher season one.
Season one, yes, yes. Well, I didn't even like the Witcher games that much. Not they're bad. It's hard for me to get into. I think that they're good, but I've never gotten into them. But the season one, I fell off after season one though. I don't know why. And also, it like
Yeah,
it
I
left
mean,
a good
same.
taste in my mouth. I was like, hey, I like that. That was good. And I heard it got bad afterwards, and I'm
I didn't
like,
like it.
I don't have a reason to watch it. So,
Yeah. So I mean, that's just my personal thoughts on that. In terms of fantasy movie, you got me my gears going in terms of like what would you say are like the top, the best of the fantasy movies? And Lord of the Rings are definitely Lord of the Rings slash Hobbit. I'm including
yeah,
them all together when I
yeah,
say like Lord of the Rings.
I would put those at the
Like
top, even though I'm not the biggest
I
fan.
think number one though, I don't think number one's those though.
My favorite is Harry Potter.
The Princess Bride.
Uh, is that fan? Well, I guess it's fantasy.
Yeah, get that up there.
That's not better than Lord of the Rings, though.
Yes, it is. You shut your mouth. Shut your mouth.
It's like a Monty
Inconceivable of you to
Python
say that.
type movie.
You better, yeah, Monty Python also up there. Get
I
that up
I,
there.
I tried in college watching The Holy Grail. I couldn't. I
What are
turned it
you
off.
on?
I had to. It's one of
On.
the.
Oh my
There's very
goodness.
few movies that make me turn it off. That's one of them.
What are you talking about? That's one of the
That
funniest movies of all
movie
time.
was so stupid. And it was just so scat. It doesn't make any sense. It's just like scenes all over the place.
It's hilarious. Yeah, well that those the Lord of the Rings franchise would definitely be, you know, up there. We don't like for all the love of fantasy and all the fans of it, there's not I don't think there's a ton of good ones. I mean, they used to be churning out Dragon Hearts, but
I
like,
like the original. I like the very first Dragonheart quite a bit.
yeah.
The bad guy in that is Lupin from Harry Potter. I think.
Oh,
Let's see. Robin Hood. There's a few Robin Hood movies. The Kevin Costner one's pretty
I
good.
don't think I didn't watch that one.
You've never seen the
Those,
Kevin
those
Costner Robin Hood?
no.
I
Does
think
the
it's pretty good.
Three Musketeers count?
Kind of. I'd say it's close enough. It's like
I
historical
don't know, because I
fiction.
think if you do that, you're kind of like, oh, Zorro. But there's a very fine line. Even though Zorro, hey, Mask of Zorro is fantastic, or Legend of Zorro, whichever one is the first one.
Yeah, I don't remember
Anyway, we're
which
getting
one's
on
which. Yeah.
tangent. Lord,
No,
we
we're
like
just
we like Lord of the Rings.
we're doing tangents. Yeah, that's what we're doing. This whole thing's a tangent. Um, but yeah, like all the stuff that I'm finding out by googling, like, okay, what's this about? Like, what's this about? Like, whatever. Like all that stuff that people are telling me about the lords of it. That's
You want
super
more
interesting to
about.
me. I want more of this. Um, but I don't know. I've
I
heard this
think
some
that's
really
what
and it's a really
I think
hard
that's
read, and I think
I think that's what the Rings of Power is trying to do. Um, the stranger guy you're referring to, it is not known who he is
right,
yet. And a lot of people are angry when the first season came out because they thought that it probably is Gandalf, and they're trying to set this up to be Gandalf, or it's Sauron. Who is it? Is it Sauron? Is it Gandalf? Is it somebody else entirely? We don't know. Because they said, because according to this line in this book, Gandalf is not from this age. He needs to be coming like 200 years later. So he should not be here right now. So if that's him, then it's breaking Tolkien canon, and this is the worst thing ever made. We hate this show. And it's like, guys, they're taking the prologue of a series of books and trying to make a TV show out of it. They're going to take some creative liberties. It doesn't break any of the other canon in films or movies or anything like that. Let them breathe. So that's where they're trying to explain the lore because I don't know who the guy's going to turn out to be. Is he going to
well,
turn out to be
it's not
Saruman?
Sauron. It's not Sauron. Sauron's in Rings of Power. I guess he comes in season 2, but he's a character in it. So there you go.
Uh, you know what? A guess of mine might be that he might be. I don't know if you remember from The Hobbit, Radagast.
Radagast is
He's
also
the
in Lord of the Rings. Um, he's like
books.
the fourth
Count-
most powerful wizard. Well, it depends on what if it depends on what Tom Bombadil is, because Tom Bombadil is arguably the most powerful character. He's like a meme character, but he is
I think
arguably
I
the
think
most.
he's in Rings of Power.
Is he?
Tom Bombadil? Because there's a guy. I'm not gonna. I think he just showed up recently. So
People think that he. Oh, it looks like he. Yeah, yeah, he is in it. Um, people like there is a quite a large theory that he is God in the Tolkien universe. That's how
okay.
powerful he is. They cut him out of the movie of Fellowship for like runtime, I guess, or whatever. But in the book, he like saves the hobbits a few times on their way to meet the elves or whatever. I think before they even meet, I think it's before, yeah, before they meet Aragorn, and like he's like, "Oh, can I see the ring, Frodo?" And Frodo gives it to him. He's like, "Huh." He's like looking at it. He's like, puts it on his finger. He's like, "Huh." And he hands it back, and Frodo's like, "What that is?" like, and like they're like getting absolutely harassed by like trees in the swamp when they first meet him, and he's just like walking around the swamp like singing. He sings all the. He only sings, like he does not talk.
Yeah.
Everything he says is in song, and he's like singing songs about himself constantly. He just walks down. He's just like walking through the swamp, all merry and whatever. And he's like, "Oh, what's going on?" He's like, "God, stop it, you stupid tree!" And he like smacks the tree, and the tree's like, "Oh!" He gives him the hobbits back. It's just like he's just like this happy-go-lucky guy who is just like absolutely like obscenely powerful.
He's kind of done that to not smacked it, but he has an interaction with the tree in Rings of Power. That's hilarious. Now that I know that, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, he there's a like I said, there's a very big prevalent theory. Again, it might not be true, but there are a substantial amount of people who think that he is probably God of the Tolkien verse. Like legitimately like his version of God. Because
That's
there's
another
no
franchise.
he's literally a meme character who just comes in like occasionally
Whenever,
to just be like an overpowered, like it's Tolkien's meme character. It's so weird.
yeah.
He's such an interesting guy too. He's funny. I really liked him. He just got a little bit old because they're with him for like 2 hours of this book, for like 2 hours straight. Every time he talks, which is a lot, it's just Andy Serkis singing, and like after like 2 hours of that, it gets a little grating. 2 hours
Yeah.
straight of the same stuff. Yeah, I'm like, man. So okay, but up until then, I really liked him. What were you gonna say? Another series?
No, I was saying when you were talking about like he's basically the god of the Tolkien verse, it got me thinking about like, okay, that kind of reminds me of Aslan, and that's another thing, Narnia, that that was another fantasy series that
I
I
did
wish they
like
explored
those. I
more.
did like those reboot movies when they came out.
They were good.
I
They
really
were
liked
good.
Prince Caspian. Like, it's like growing up, like before those movies came out, I used to watch the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe a lot as a kid, and then they rebooted them with those movies, and I really liked the first two. Dawn Treader's fine,
Yeah.
but that's the first time I ever saw that kid that plays Adam Warlock.
Will Poulter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
was Dawn Treader. Have you seen? I keep seeing this clip of people talking about him being Adam Warlock, but it's like a clip of him when he was a kid, but he's in like a movie where he's like playing like a business, like all. I guess it's like all these kids are adults or whatever. And he's like a
He
businessman.
what?
He looks like a Wall Street guy or whatever, but he's still like a kid, maybe like a preteen.
No.
Man, what is this movie?
I would not have guessed that he'd turn out to be the star that he is, though. Like if you had told me when I was watching, The Voyage of the Dawn Treader, like he's gonna grow to be, some big star, I would have been like, yeah, right. Um,
Oh,
yeah,
he
I
was
don't
in
know
the
what you're
Maze Runner.
referring.
I
Yeah, he's a
got
Maze
I
Runner.
got those movies a while ago. I've seen most, if not all of them, like once, but like years ago.
I don't like him. Just maybe I'm not a utopian type of guy. Any sort of teen utopian, I don't Like I can't buy into
You
those
mean you
worlds.
mean
The story's
dystopia?
always lackluster.
Not utopia. You mean like
Dystopia.
in dystopia? I gotcha.
Yeah, dystopia. It's some kind of teenage dystopian, like the Hunger Games, Ender's Game, Maze Runner, um, any of those. I can't get into them. I try, and it's just there's never really real depth. It feels like a person coming off the page of a book and not in a good way. It doesn't come across as a real person. It comes across as a character. I don't know if that makes sense. Um, but yeah. Do you have anything else you want to talk about with Lord of the Rings?
No, I really hope I enjoy it. Like I definitely like Fellowship the book more than the movie. It also makes me appreciate the movie more.
With the accuracies?
Well, yeah, with the accuracies, the things that they changes though really upset me. Like that was a huge problem for me when watching it. Like, why did all these other people? Why did he not find the ring before this? But the book explains it. Um, uh, um, well, yeah, but like I said, like the lore, like the stuff that like where the Maiars come from and all that, like that's super interesting to me. What they are, I would love more actual explanation of how magic works, and so that's one reason why I brought up the Aragon, right? Okay, so because in Lord of the Rings, and I've my friend said this, he's like, it's funny that Tolkien, the reason Tolkien made Lord of the Rings is because he really wanted to make his own language and he didn't have a good reason, so he's like, oh, I'll just
Uh,
build a world around it, which Aragon has two or three like other languages in it. And like that's cool and impressive for like a young guy to make or whatever. But it's not as good as Tolkien's, absolutely. And the world building's not as good. But I really like it just the same. I love, and I've also like I've read the Aragon books like 3 or 4 times probably. So I'm a lot more familiar with that. I resonate with that a lot more. But like I see all the inspiration that came from Tolkien, and I think Tolkien is like, that's where it comes from basically. Even though also respect to Paolini for doing, as far as I know, mostly his own thing with creating those other languages. I guarantee they're not nearly as fleshed out as Tolkien's because that's what Tolkien's known for. But specifically, like Lord of the Rings and fantasy stuff has, in my opinion, like my least favorite way. It could change if I understand it more and get more into it. But as my current understanding, and for a long time, it is my least favorite magic system in any fantasy. It's always been my biggest problem
yeah.
with Lord of the Rings. I don't like the magic. I don't like how it works. On the contrast, in Aragon, those books, that is my by far my favorite magic system. The way that magic works in Aragon is there's something called the ancient language, and it's basically like the true name, the true word for everything. And the way you use it, the way you intention it, like that's what spells are. Is you are like you're basically using it, and not everyone could do it, but if you have innate magic, which like dragon riders get it because they're like magic either comes from dragons or dragons are magic. So like there's magic in nature, but like dragons are like the epitome of nature. So they are a big source of magic, and when they bond with a rider, they imbue him, like they link their magic to him or whatever. So that's how riders should be able. Elves like kind of naturally have access to it or whatever, but the stores are I think less usually stuff like that. But you expend it or whatever. You can if you get good at it, you can like use the nature around you. Like some of the bad magic users or whatever, they'll like do like big powerful spells or whatever, and it won't expend theirs, but they'll like leave the area around them, like all the grass and vegetation around them will just all immediately die because they just suck the life out of everything to imbue their magic basically. But like the way like uh, they briefly kind of hint at this or talk about it a little bit loosely in the movie. You might remember like Jeremy Irons as Brom is like teaching him the names of things in the ancient language, and that's how he and like your intention, but you have to really learn it. Like the over the course of the series, like he's like really learning specifically how to, because it's super easy to misuse stuff or whatever. The first time he uses it, they're like getting overrun by Urgles, which is like his orcs, I guess. And
Hmm.
in a last ditch effort, he pulls a bow of an arrow out and shoots it. And he heard Brahm say Brazinger under his breath, which is the word for fire. It's the ancient language name for fire. And that's how Brahm lit a fire one time. So they do this scene in the movie, but as he's losing it, just instinctually he says Brazinger, and it basically nukes the town. Like, and it just, and it knocks him unconscious because he doesn't know what he's doing, and he expended all of his magic or whatever just accidentally, just because he said a word. Like, and if you have access to it and you don't know what you're doing, it can literally just kill you. Like
Yeah.
he almost died there because like he doesn't know what he's doing, and like just that simple slip up or whatever. So it's a very detailed, very like very precise way that it works. But it's just like a perfect trade off. It's also like linked to like the true name of stuff in this other language. It's really cool. So you have like the ancient language, you have the elves language, you have the dwarves language, and in the back of each of the books, there's a compendium of every word that was used. So like I don't think he has like a full language like made out for all these. Maybe he does. I don't know. I don't think that's really explained in the books. But like they learn you like the people learn the different languages in the books or whatever. So like it goes into it, just not nearly as much as Tolkien. And rightly so. Like again, no shade to Tolkien, but like I love the way the magic
Yeah.
system works in Aragon. To me, it is just perfect. Plus, I like dragons. I like dragon riders. All that jazz.
Well, I mean, a part of that might be because of Tolkien's focus.
On language.
I
That was like
think,
his passion, I think. Yeah.
well, the language as well, but I mean, Tolkien, everybody knows he wrote it in response to, having been through the war. And, he's supposed to, I think he was more interested in telling the personification of the struggle, like the horrific part of war, and things like that, like actually good versus evil, and that's what he's trying to emphasize. The magic part of it, I'm not giving him a pass, of course. I mean, I think that's really cool about how Aragon handled that. But it sounds like their purpose in that was creating this, this world, all that. In my mind, the more I learn about Tolkien, he was wanting to use a narrative and like what's a great way to get like grab people's interest in a way to use this narrative, especially in creative ways, and that was probably through the fantasy genre. I don't think
Oh, that's
I
another
wouldn't
thing.
say he
Yeah.
had a passion about it though.
I just remembered I haven't watched it yet, but I also got it was like on sale on the Fandango at Home thing, like probably like a year or more ago. There's a biopic for Tolkien that's got I think the dude who
It's
plays
Nicholas Holt.
yeah. So I want to watch that now. But it's funny you said that stuff. My friend also said the same thing about like it's him like he's putting like his experiences, especially with like the war and everything like into it and all that jazz, and it's like his outlet. I 100% agree with you guys. I believe that there is definitely some inspiration there. It's just funny because the specific edition that Andy Serkis is reading, and I don't even think it was. I don't remember if it was done by the narrator before or Andy Serkis, because there's like a little bit that's read by someone else before at the beginning. I think it was when Andy Serkis took over. The foreword or whatever at the beginning of the book is like it's like this is just a story. There's no allegory. Stop thinking about it. This is not about my life. Like all this is like all this stuff. It's like this like little like side rant at the beginning of this
Well,
book,
I don't
and I'm
I
like,
don't think it's him trying to tell the story of his life
well,
or
but
anything
he's just
through
like
that
he's like
lens.
you're overthinking it. This is just a story. Like this is not people that are saying it's about my experience with the war, the things I went through. It's not. I just want to tell a story to my son, and I send him bits and pieces there. And I'm like, I I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm misunderstanding what that was because I feel like multiple people have said what you just said, and I agree. But I also am like, if I'm understanding him right, he's saying it's not. I'm like, I don't know if I
Well, I know
I think people
because
put stuff in it even if they don't realize it. Either way, but I don't know. It's just
I
very
believe it
interesting
was
that people
him.
keep saying that, And then he
Well, I know it
specifically
was
said, like, stop it.
well
Like,
because I say that also because like I've heard that from multiple times talking about him, and him also trying to portray religion with his writing as well. Versus, I know he had a tough time. I think it was him. He had a tough time with the writer of Dune,
yes,
who
yes,
um
they had a
little bit of
interesting relationship. Yeah,
disagreement.
like they didn't like each
Yeah.
other's stuff, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um.
Which I
So yeah.
don't remember. I don't think I finished Dune. I have Dune also, but I got like halfway through it. The Dune movies are good. Dune movies are really good. Which is weird because I don't normally like, I don't know, that vibe thing I've talked about where like the setting and the set piece like can really throw me off. I usually hate desert stuff for some reason. But
Yeah.
Dune, I don't know what it is about Dune, but Dune gets me.
Partially. I thought the second one was good. First one, not a huge
I
fan
love
of.
the first one. I like the second one too, but I'm a
Yeah,
first one defender.
not a huge fan of that. So was there like a was there a was there a favorite of the Hobbit Lord of the Rings franchise for you, or do you think you need to rewatch them before you, if you even remember which one you liked the best?
No, I don't remember at all.
Okay.
I'm going to. It was nice because I had 3 days of work in a row, and I worked 12-hour shifts, so like I was able to listen to a 22-hour book, over the course of 3 days. So that was
Yeah.
nice. The other two apparently are a little bit shorter, I think, but they're still like around 20 hours each. Um, but I want to get them. I want to see if they have The Hobbit by Andy Serkis as well because I do. Andy Serkis is great.
I think The Hobbit is very short. From what I heard, it's shorter than any
Let
of
me
the Lord of
see.
the Rings books.
Let me see. The
Me
Hobbit.
me personally, I like the first Hobbit the best out of any of the movies. Um, I just I think it gives you
Oh yeah, it's way
everything
shorter.
you would. Yeah,
I
I
do
just
have
think
it.
that one
Nice.
gives
I
you
get that.
the most. Like it gives you everything you'd want in any of the Lord of the Rings Hobbit movies, but it puts it all in one. With a nice bow on top. Like it's a complete movie, and it's
Yeah, and
fun.
that's always been like I've harped about that with part ones and stuff like that. But like I don't know, I feel like I will say that's another thing that like I don't think I've really had that much of a problem with Lord of the Rings because it's Lord of the Rings is one big adventure, and there's not really maybe this is just a hypocrisy on my end because that's never really bothered me about those movies. And even the book, but I kind of knew what to expect with the book, like I said, because I've seen Fellowship enough times to where I knew that where it ended or whatever, knew what to expect. Unless I missed something, because like I get busy at work and sometimes I miss like stuff here and there, but I'm pretty sure I was paying attention near the end. I don't think that Boromir dies at the end of book one. Doesn't Boromir die in Fellowship?
Yeah, that's yeah, that's the big thing in the end of Fellowship.
Which to me is like
They
a
took
little
the
bit.
little ones
Yeah, because the Fellowship ends, and unless I miss something,
with Sam and Frodo
Frodo
in the
in the
boat.
boat. Yeah, like like Boromir just confronted him, tried to steal the ring. He put on the ring and ran away, and then decided he needs to go alone. And then it cuts to the rest of the party. They're talking about it. Boromir shows up and they're like, "Where is Frodo? We haven't seen him in a while." So they're looking for him or whatever. And Sam was like thinking like, because Sam's like smart, right? Like Sam's got it. Sam's got it going on. Everyone's like, he's like, think, where would he go? Where would he? He's like, he needs stuff, the boats, and he like runs and he sees a boat going off on its own. And he like goes, he just like basically almost drowns himself, and Frodo has to save him. He's like, you're an
Yeah.
idiot. Come on. And so they set off together, and that's how it ends. Boromir's still alive though. I'm like, huh?
Maybe that's at the beginning of the second book.
Maybe. But doesn't he die protecting Frodo?
Yeah,
Does Frodo not get far
that's how
away?
they get away. That's how they get away.
Okay, because that doesn't, because they're gone, like unless they catch up with them like
Well,
immediately.
They do. He fights the orcs, but the orcs do end up taking, I think, Merry and Pippin at the end of Fellowship.
Okay, because which could work, but because there's no the orcs haven't shown up at the end of Fellowship.
Hmm.
I mean, they've shown up a few times throughout the book, but like they're not. I remember the end of Fellowship. They're like, I feel like the stuff with Boromir's happening, but then also like they're like, oh crap, there's orcs here, and everyone's kind of like scattered and they're
Yeah.
panicking. And
Legolas and Aragorn are fighting a bunch.
oh my gosh, so Legolas, there's some stuff that is cool in the books, but apparently, and this is what I'm talking about, where the movies do stuff like really cool and get stuff right or whatever. Um, that like people have noticed and I've seen people talking about that I really like. I think I am gonna watch Fellowship tonight while I'm like folding laundry and stuff like that because there's stuff I want to look for specifically, especially with Legolas, because I want to know if I'm understanding people correctly that they got certain things right or whatever. Like because Legolas, like elves are like super light, right?
Yeah.
Um, so there's like things where they're noticing that like they're walking through like a forest where because it's like the end of fall and then into winter is where the first book takes place. It's like fall and winter. So like the leaves are on the ground and Legolas is walking on the leaves and they're not crunching underneath him.
Ah.
So that's pretty cool. But also when they're when they're in the snow, they're like in snowbanks and drifts and they're all like trudging through the snow and he's just walking along the top of the snow.
Walking on top.
And I'm
That's in
like,
the movie.
apparently they do that in the movie, but it's not
Yeah.
it's not like something they really like point out. I'm in my head. I want to like actually see it, but in my head I'm like picturing like a scenic view of you see like the lines they're all making in the snow or whatever, and Legolas doesn't have one. He's just walking on top of the snow. Like that's super cool. That's like I can tell even just listening reading the book and then the little bits I do remember about Fellowship, like I can tell that there's a lot of like passion and like love that went into these movies, and that's why people like them so much because they do get a ton right.
Yeah.
I think in the movie doesn't Galadriel, all the stuff with her happen at Elrond's council like area, like doesn't all the elf stuff happen at one place or do they bump into elves twice? I don't know, you might not remember. I mean they bump into elves multiple times throughout this, but like because
Well,
they go to like Rivendell, which is where Elrond is, and then they head out again with the party, and then eventually they bump into Legolas's people who are in the trees, they're like the tree elves or whatever, and that's where Galadriel is. But I thought in the movie that that's all together, like all the elf stuff happens like in
I
one
think they do
place.
combine them together.
Okay, and that would make
I don't
sense. That
remember
wouldn't bother me, but
because Legolas is already there.
what do you mean? No, he's there at the Fellowship. And
Okay.
he's with them, and then they happen to be passing through like where his people come from or whatever, and that's where, like Galadriel and her person is. She's with a guy, I think. There's like a her and a guy elf.
I don't know. Elrond.
Nah, it's not Elrond. Elrond is Rivendell. Because I also thought it was like, I again I could be like completely misremembering. I thought that like is it Arwen? Is Arwen the girl elf that um
In The Hobbit,
is she in the Hobbit? I thought Arwen was the girl elf. Arwen?
that Eric.
Aragorn.
I know.
Doesn't Aragorn love somebody who's an elf? Doesn't he? I could have sworn he did.
Yeah, I think that's her name.
Yeah, because I thought that she was like Elrond's daughter or something. But I think she's in Legolas's people's area. I think. I don't know. I know I missed bits and pieces, but I got the majority of the stuff. Sam's the G though. Love
Sam's
Sam.
awesome.
I love Aragorn. I like Gimli and Legolas. Merry and Pippin
Yeah.
are fine.
Yeah,
I just don't like Frodo.
they're good.
I just
Yeah,
don't like Frodo.
I don't like Frodo either.
I don't
He's
know.
such a
It's just,
complainer.
I mean, he's really
He's
not in the book, honestly. He's very worrying. He worries a lot, and he's trying. He feels terrible. Like the whole time, he's just like, I feel terrible. I should do this alone. He's not like complaining about why me or whatever. Really, like, it's just I don't know. Maybe the movies are more why I don't like it because like in the book he's fine, but for some reason I just don't like him.
I think give it time. Wait till I haven't read the books, but I want to hear what he's like when they're around Smeagol, and Smeagol,
Oh yeah,
says Sam ate the bread, the little fatty, and he's trying to steal the ring, and then Frodo's like, "Yeah, go away, Sam," and then he's like, "Mr. Frodo, no, don't do it."
Sam is just the
So
best.
just it's just awful. I don't know, but yeah,
All right. Well, we've talked
over,
about we've talked about Lord of the Rings for a long time, and it's just because of one book I read. So, what else we got? What else? Did you say you watched another movie? I forget.
yeah. So I watched two movies. One of them not much of a conversation. Have you ever seen The Departed?
No, not yet.
That's a really good movie. Matt Damon, Leo DiCaprio, Jack Nicholson, Mark Wahlberg,
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
Baldwin. uh,
Oh,
it's got
yeah.
a ton of people. It's great. It's a good movie. Scorsese. I'm not a huge Scorsese guy. It's a good movie. I had seen it before, so for me it was just rewatch. But there is a. I watched another movie that there is a untapped genre of film that this it used to be big and it's not as popular anymore, and this specific screenwriter, director, whatever you want to call him, he has really found a niche role in it in putting it in modern times. What I'm referring to as is a modern western. There's a director, I don't know if have you heard of the show Yellowstone?
Yes. Yeah. I haven't
Okay,
watched it,
I
but
haven't
yeah.
watched Yellowstone. I haven't watched it. I've heard from obviously a bunch
Yeah,
of
it's very
people it's good.
popular.
I probably will never watch it. I don't know. It's just not something that really interests me.
Same.
But the guy who does that show,
Mm-hmm.
Tyler Sheridan.
Sounds familiar.
There's two movies. Yeah, there's two movies that he's really popular for. Found out there's another one that he's probably more popular for. He didn't. One of them he directed. The other two he was like the screenplay writer for. So he was like he knows how to write these kind of
Mm-hmm.
uh you know Western feel, but in modern time situations. One of them. Have you seen Sicario?
Mm-mm.
Sicario. Okay, Sicario is a good movie. It's not really Western. It's about America and Mexico handling like drug cartel stuff. Um, Benicio del Toro and Josh Brolin are in it. It's great. It's directed by Denis Villeneuve. Villanueva, the Dune director. So that movie, great. And this guy did that one. Other two movies that he did that I watched, within the last month. One of them I just watched this week called Hell or High Water,
I've heard of it.
and that one's Chris Pine. It's Chris Pine, um, and that was just it's so refreshing to experience a movie that you're like it feels like a western. It has the feel of a western, but you're in a world that has trucks, has phones, has all these things that like a western wouldn't have, and you're like, oh, okay, well we can never really go back to the old west, but still because it takes place a lot of the stories in like Texas or Wyoming or things like that, places that there's not a lot of people who will base their movies there. I know a lot of people base movies in Texas, but like won't base their movies there because New York exists, L.A. exists. That's where a lot of these movies are based in. So Hell or High Water was very. It's just a good time. It really puts it back, and this is why I want more movies like this. I give that like an 8 out of 10. It's I don't even want to talk about it. I don't want any spoilers, but Chris Pine's great in it. It's about two brothers. And
Two
then there's also
brothers.
a what's his name? Jeff Bridges is in it, and he's a sheriff trying to catch these two brothers who are doing these heists all over this particular area of Texas. So really good movie. Another one I watched. It's probably better. Um, Wind River. Have you ever seen Wind River?
Yeah, all these just I looked up Hell or High Water and like Sicario, Wind River, and that are all listed together.
Yeah. So Wind River is another one I watched a couple weeks ago, and
Oh,
it's
it's got your
so
boy in it.
it's a good it's a good movie. It's got Elizabeth Olsen, it's got Jeremy Renner, um, and it. it also puts you in, you know, how we think cowboy and Indians. And in both Hell or High Water and Wind River, there's the cowboy, but
Mm-hmm.
then there's in Hell or High Water, there is a Native American character, and they're still able to play up that tension a little bit. Usually it's jab jokes at each other, you know, about, you know, oh, if your ancestors hadn't given up this land, and it's just like, you know, if your ancestors hadn't taken it, and stuff like just jokes at each other, you know, they can
Mm-hmm.
have fun with it. Wind River is different, but it's in an area, I think it takes place in like Colorado, something where there's like a heavy Native American population. Um, Kind of a murder mystery, not really. It's not really a mystery. You're just kind of following along as these people uncover what happened for this murder. I will say it's got one of the hardest to watch scenes I've ever seen. Um, I don't know if I'd recommend this movie to someone because of it. Like it'll be tough going to sleep at night, I think, because of one of the scenes in this movie. It handles, you know, uh, people just in this kind of area where the law is not as prevalent. And, you know, this specific movie kind of tackles, um, like, obviously murder, but also rape situations.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, obviously you don't really see anything, but there's a specific hard to watch scene. But the movie is so tense, and it was just really good. And again, it gives you that feel of a Western still, but in a modern times. And that's why, like, they're really interesting, really good movies. I really hope we get more like this, but these aren't like made this year and last year. These were made like within the past 10, 15 years. So they're not super new. I just hope that, you know, we keep these movies coming because, you know, the Chris Pratt Magnificent Seven movie with Denzel, it was okay, but I think both these are better. And I want more of this, less of let's reinvent, you know, let's go back and make Western movies. Let's try and bring it up so I can see, you know, I want to see more movies like this. So those were some movies that I've watched, and I hope we get more like those.
Mm-hmm.
I do have a question for you outside of that, though. Um, I was thinking about Doomsday,
Doomsday. Okay.
and I'm tr- I don't. This might be an easy question, but if you had to kind of, I guess, rank in order, or just give me one or five, maybe, who is it most important for them to do right for this movie to be good, like for it to be a success?
Man, we don't even know who's gonna be in this movie.
Well, I think you have.
I guess top. I guess the
I
top five we know, as far as we know, the people who are the top five.
just you as a person, you say like, okay,
The
the
people who
next
they have to
5 years.
if they get
Let's
these
just
people right, I'm in. Like then it's
let's
good or
well, let's
whatever.
just say for the future of the MCU, not just for the movie. I'm talking about for the future of the MCU. They have to get the like for the future of the MCU. This movie has to be good too, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But not only that, but like for any success past this movie, what do they have to do right? It can be directly tied to this movie, but just in general.
What do they have to get right in general, or like
I'd say like
which
who?
characters? Like what? Okay, yeah. Which
Yes, which
characters do they have to
characters?
nail?
Like you can't put
I feel like the obvious one. Like they have to get Doom.
they have to get Doom right. Yeah,
Yeah, I feel
obviously
like
that's
that's number
one.
one. Like that's the biggest gamble of this whole thing. But if they
Yeah,
nail it, it will be good. But
yeah.
it's going to be hard because everyone's
But
already
in the sense,
predisposed anti RDJ is Doom.
yeah. And also in that case though, RDJ is not as Doom isn't sticking around for 10 years, you know?
Right.
So like
I wouldn't be
that's imperative.
opposed to them setting up another Doom with this, to be honest.
Yeah, it's imperative for this Doom to be good so that they can continue making Marvel movies. But the thing is, Doom being good isn't going to help those future Marvel movies.
Um, well, I mean, my initial thought was Doom has to be good because Doom is the big question mark. So there's
Yes.
Doom, of
Yeah.
course.
I
My
agree.
next person, honestly, was Reed. They gotta. I feel like they gotta.
Reed.
They gotta set
Well,
Reed
do
up
you,
because I feel like Reed could be the next Iron Man if he's set up.
but do you think Pedro Pascal is gonna stick around to do that?
I hope so.
So, okay, so you have Reed. Who else? Who would you put at 3?
Sam. We still gotta.
See, that's
We still gotta set Sam up. Like Sam is just kind of.
that's the thing. That's the thing. We can't put Sam on the back burner
Yeah,
again.
yeah. Sam has to be pivotal in this movie.
But also, Anthony Mackie's not super young.
That's true. But I feel like he just got started. Like, that's the problem.
He got started in Winter Soldier.
No, but I'm saying like as a, like you can't hand him the reins of like the lead Avenger and
And
then
then
2
immediately
movies
take him
later
away.
kill him off or whatever. Like you can't. Like, and he's you
Yeah.
know like to me the people who surprise me the most are because they've been around the longest are him, Sebastian Stan. Just never seems like he wants to leave the MCU, and like if I had to pick another person, it'd be like Tom Hiddleston. But like we're getting enough breaks between Tom Hiddleston stuff to where like I think it's more like him coming back for stuff.
And his
Like
character
Loki's thing
always,
could have
for the most
ended
part,
with
feels
Loki
consistent.
season 2. Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess
And
that you know
necessary.
what
He's
that
not
would probably
just
be my next
Roman.
person, is because, but like I'm so ready for more Loki.
Is he going to be in the 4th? Is he in
He's
Doomsday?
in Doomsday, yeah.
So you think he's the 4th most important person to get right
Maybe for me
for
personally,
the
maybe I put
future?
him 5. Well, no, see the future
This
thing's throwing
isn't.
me off.
This isn't.
Because for me, I'm like I'm not thinking about the future because Doomsday is make or break. If Doomsday's bad,
But
like
the thing is, if Doomsday's good and they don't build up the characters correctly, you're going to be in the same position in 7 years, and you're going to be bringing back everybody again to make more money so you can keep it going.
I guess, but I feel like you already like people are already have like I love the MCU. Like I see all the movies and everything like that, but like it is true a lot of people have the superhero fatigue. The MCU is not considered what it was. It's not what it was, but like I still like it. But like a lot of people are already out the door or on their way out the door. Like Doomsday has to be what gets people to turn around. Um so like I mean
But
if
I don't
Dooms
think Loki is the 4th most important person for that.
well for the future of it no, but I think that the I think Doomsday has to be good, not set up good. I don't know if that makes sense. I'm more
It is,
concerned
but
with
I think
Doomsday being good than I am with Doomsday setting up what's
so,
next.
because I hear. Well, here's the thing. When I say for the future of the MCU, I say that because this movie has to be good for there to be a future of the MCU. But then you need to set the stage for your characters better than you did in Endgame. Because in Endgame, the
We have
Russo
all the
brothers
characters set up. Yeah.
knew they were out. They were just like, all right, we're gonna do what we want, and James Gunn, you can clean up Guardians, um, when you do your movie, but we're killing Gamora. And James is like, okay. Um, so you need to do a better job of setting up for more stories after this. In order for there to be a continuous future of the MCU. So
Well,
with that being said, like I would argue Sam might be above Reed, but I think the MCU
I
executives, whatever,
I feel
I
like you
think they're
gotta
kind of.
you have well because we
I
don't know
think they're
how much of
done.
Doomsday is like the X-Men stuff in Doomsday. We don't know how much of that's actually gonna be after Doom. Like I'm not consider like all the
I
X-Men
don't
stuff
think.
right now. I'm thinking is just Doomsday. I'm not thinking the X-Men stuff is coming into the MCU here. I think there's gonna
Yeah,
be a little
I
bit
don't.
more like I think Deadpool and Wolverine like attach like a string. This is gonna be another string. Maybe there's one or two. Maybe if Jean Grey or Rachel Summers is Sadie Sink's character, maybe that's another string. Like, there's going to be a few ties before they actually find a way to bring the X Men into the MCU. I don't think this is bringing the X Men in, so I don't think that it's any of the X Men characters. Um, I think that right now the strongest um, person or group potentially for the MCU going forward is the Fantastic Four.
But the
I
thing,
think that the
they're a different universe. I don't see them planning to keep them in 616 for, the next 5 to 10 years making movies.
I don't know. I feel like when you join, like if you sign on for the MCU, that's what you're signing on for. You're signing on for like, hey, this is gonna be like a
Yeah, but
long
they're
term
they're
commitment.
out of how are you going to convince me as the viewer that yeah, the Fantastic Four should be in this world that has so many superheroes in it instead of back in their original universe where they barely stopped Galactus from destroying their world.
What if the what if they don't have an original universe? Like, what if it gets destroyed?
You're saying it gets destroyed?
Like
That
they,
would be crazy.
yeah, I'm saying like I feel like there's different things they could do, or they can't get back. I feel like they can't get back would be a cop out because I feel like if they're there, you know there's a reason that they're there. Like Reed or whatever got them there, or could get them back.
What about so with this talk of, you know, who do they have to nail, for it to be good for the MCU now and in future?
Shadow the Hedgehog. That's
Nah.
that's my answer.
Keanu? Um,
Keanu.
what about because you didn't even mention Chris Evans.
They don't have to do anything with Steve. Steve. We already have Steve not going forward. Like,
Well, they're bringing him back for Doomsday. That we know that.
yes, but they're not like Steve's not
But
like I don't know why they're doing
if you
that,
don't,
but also I'm seeing
but if you
people still think that he's going to be like evil Steve, but that doesn't make any sense with the baby trailer. Unless they're
and
having
also
multiple
do you
Steves.
also, but if they don't nail bringing Steve back, doesn't that leave a sour taste in your mouth, and doesn't that kind of ruin the movie a little bit?
Yes, but that's not. But that doesn't affect going forward. That affects like Doomsday.
I know, but that might affect how Doomsday performs, which then in turn does affect the future.
I I know, like I feel like
If
I
we
feel like we're
were,
talking, or we're both talking, like we're saying opposite things. Like for me, it's
well, no,
like
I'm
they have to
saying,
nail Doomsday, regardless of what comes after. Like, in my opinion, like what do they have to nail in Doomsday? And I'm feeling like you're saying, what do they have to set up in Doomsday? And I'm not. Like for me, I'm
I
like I
think
don't care about what comes after Doomsday right now. You have to focus on nailing Doomsday, because if you don't, which I think that we're saying the same thing, but um,
so. I think what we can compare it to is with Infinity War and Endgame. It was very important that you nail, you know, Spider-Man. I know that's a big thing. Well, Spider-Man, but the thing is, Spider-Man was having a movie come out right after Endgame with Far From Home. Spider-Man was supposed to be the leading man in the
Spider Man's
next few
barely in
films.
Endgame. I don't think they nailed Spider Man.
At the end, well, I mean, when he's there, he's great. Another character that they were trying to force to us as development after, if you remember, Captain Marvel was supposed to be the next
Yeah, I
Captain
thought about
America.
Captain Marvel being one. I just don't trust them to know what to do with her.
But yeah, that's the thing. They didn't do one a good enough job in Infinity War and Endgame to set her up, but also two, she's just her whole thing they haven't set up right. They did a little bit better in the Marvels. She was a little bit more tolerable in there, but that's why I'm pointing to and saying like you gotta nail Tony. You do have to nail Steve. I don't think I would put Steve as high as like you had. I would put Pedro and Sam above Steve in order of importance to get right.
I
But I think
also
Steve's got to.
I also think that people who are already established or liked in their role don't matter as much. We don't have to propel them for the future. Like I didn't say Yelena because I think Yelena is at a good spot. People like Yelena. Um, so I think that you just kind of carry her on. You could set up a little bit more there for sure, but like Yelena doesn't need more momentum. Sam like needs more momentum if you're going to keep him as Captain America, and that's like the difference. Um,
What about Sentry?
Man, yeah, like I would love if Sentry became a more thing. I feel like Sentry's more like a Vision situation.
Yeah,
Like he's just
exactly. I
there
think
to
that's
be an ex
perfect.
machina occasionally. Um,
Yeah.
like he's just there to be the like the trump card, the win, break glass in case of emergency type thing. Which I don't I don't actually know. Depending on how power scale they have this Doom, I don't know if Sentry. Again, I could be way out of my depth here. I have no idea.
I
I don't know how those two characters compare to each other.
I think another person in the new trailer. I didn't know if they would really focus on this person. I thought they might put him on the back burner. It looks like they're
Neymar.
not. Shuri.
Oh, sure.
I think I didn't think they'd really be pushing Shuri.
If they
It
push
seemed like
Shuri, like you could set her up. I think it'd be good. But people, I think Shuri's
yeah,
gonna be a very difficult character to like to hype up. I think with the general audience, whatever, because people didn't. I feel like most people didn't like Wakanda Forever. I liked it. I guess because like
no.
it didn't really matter to me that much. Um, like I liked what they were trying to do, like out of respect, as far as like not casting T'Challa and like do a different thing, and I liked that enough to I'm like, fine, let's let Shuri. I like the actor for like I like the character for Shuri,
Tisha, right? Yeah.
so like yeah, like it was just like a respectful way to do it. It's kind of making the best of a terrible situation, and that's why I'm fine with how that went or whatever. So like I'm fine with Shuri doing it. I don't know if Shirley. I don't know if Shuri is popular enough, or if people like her. I feel like she's a little divisive because
That
some people are upset with like, oh, the Black Panther story switched to her, and we don't like that. And I mean, I don't think that's fair, but I feel like a lot of people do think that.
was there a character that came out of Infinity War slash Endgame that people were like, I want more of them. Like I want that
Spider
character, like
Man,
that.
but
Well, not yeah,
they
but
already had that with Spider Man.
yeah. I'm trying to think of like, was there a character that people are like, dang, I want more. I think Thor probably fits that bill because you had Ragnarok, and then you had his entrance into Infinity War, and people
I
were like,
still I feel like
I
Thor
want.
could have also just had a send off in Endgame. I don't feel like Thor had
He
to.
could. Well, to be honest, they didn't. They've known what to do with him after. It looks like Russo's might have something. It looks like they might have something with him cooking, but Taiki Waititi's a terrorist. He really destroyed the character with Love and Thunder. But I'm just trying to think like because I think with Shuri, I think Shuri has the potential if they can make her like she was in Wakanda Forever, a likable protagonist. Because she was so annoying in the first, sorry, excuse me, first Black Panther, and then Infinity War. She just was like, "You guys are all too stupid. I'm the smartest person." Yeah, you
She's
guys don't
barely in
understand because you're
Infinity War.
stupid. I
She
know
has
she's
like
like, "Of
five
course,
lines.
bring him," but she's like, "Bring him here because I have, I have technology." But Wakanda Forever, she's like, "I'm just the smartest. You guys are just too stupid to understand." But then Wakanda Forever, she feels the weight of having to be the new queen or with her mother dying, Chadwick not being there. So I think it's really an opportunity for the MCU if you can make her please like enjoyed Shuri a lot in Wakanda Forever. Please make her likable in Doomsday, and I think you will get a whole bunch of fans on board. Like I would actually like to see more of her Black Panther. How does she only have one movie about her? And I think that's when you can kind of keep going. So I think that might be my fifth pick.
Shuri. Man, I'm trying to remember. Is there like a cast list?
The thing is, it's overwhelmed with like X-Men and all, so
Yeah, yeah.
it's a tough one. I don't know who else besides those five would be up there. I mean, is
I personally I hope that this is either this or Secret Wars needs to be it for Thor. Like Thor's story needs to wrap in a satisfying way, so that Chris Hemsworth can move on. Oh, wait, Simu Liu. Shang-Chi, I think he could use more. Like after this, we could get him.
But would you put him in the top five, or would you kind of put him at 6 or 7?
Personally, I think I'd put him over Shuri.
Really, I think Shuri's more important to the future of the MCU than Shang-Chi.
Is is America Chavez confirmed for this?
Not that I know of. I hope not. I mean, she was awful.
Calm yourself.
That movie sucks.
Let me see. Okay, I've got the whole thing here. The whole list. Ghost. Loki. Oh, they are bringing Mystique back, but it's not. Okay, that makes sense.
Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah, sad day.
That's all right. I'm not a Jennifer Lawrence guy.
Oh wait, there's more. No.
I was just trying to think of like if I was the Russo brothers, who do I want to walk out of this movie making sure I've got the audience being like they did really well with that character.
Um. Also, actually, people who I think need to be in this movie. Um. There's two people I think need to be in this movie that have not been confirmed yet.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. Although I understand that that's scary because it's RDJ, so it's like how is that gonna play? But Spider-Man needs to be in this movie. And
Not Pepper.
Doctor Strange.
Oh, I just assumed Doctor Strange was in it.
He's
not
not
confirmed?
He's not confirmed yet. But I would say those two, maybe Hulk.
Yeah,
He'd be probably the third.
you know, Hulk. It sucks what's happened with Hulk just because he'll never get that movie that we really needed for his character. I don't, and the Russos notoriously don't know what to do with Hulk. They I think they have their, as you said, Ex Machina in Sentry, so they don't need the Ex Machina in Hulk. So it's like they don't know what to do with him. I don't
Well, they
know.
also kind of already established that he's not, at least for them in their movies. He's still Hulk,
He's
but like
power scaled incredibly down.
yeah, I mean, but also I think everyone is, except for like the weakest characters are power scaled up a little bit. Like I don't think there's, maybe because like in the comics I feel like it would be like Hulk versus Thanos would go about the same way that it went in Infinity War. Maybe like Hulk would probably put more of a fight for sure, but I feel like
I heard that there's a I did hear that we got confirmation that Thanos used one of the stones he had to beat Hulk in Endgame. No, Infinity War.
okay,
When he beats the snot out of him, somebody confirmed that he did use the power from one of the stones to do that.
okay, well that would make sense.
That makes me feel better about that. But still, the Russos
But we don't like
butchered his
when
character in
okay.
Endgame and Infinity War, so I don't no confidence in that at all.
Yeah, man. I don't know. This movie worries me.
I think they're cooking. I think they got
I
something.
hope so. I want them to.
I hope so too, but I really do think they got something.
What do you think? What do you think would be worse if you? Well, that's a dumb question. I'm trying to think, like,
What?
because I was gonna say, what do you
Which
think
one
would be
do I?
worse? What if you hated it and I liked it, or if I hated it and you liked it? But obviously, you think it's worse if you hate it, and vice versa. But I was trying to think of how to. That's not exactly what I'm meaning with the question though.
I
Like,
don't think this is a movie that we can walk out of it with different takes on.
really,
Yeah.
I have a strong feeling we're gonna walk out of this with different takes.
unless you're
But
just like a
but at the same
pest.
time, I have no idea where this is going. Like I haven't been this like in the dark um like an MCU movie since Multiverse of Madness,
And
which
it's
is
great.
scary.
It's great not knowing.
But also all the stuff that was going around like rumors wise with Multiverse of Madness got people's expectations way too high, whereas this movie actually has seemingly some of that stuff actually like confirmed type of deal. Like a lot of the hype around this is actually like confirmed stuff, and there's not nearly as many like leaks and rumors, I guess, in my opinion, as there were, or I guess fake rumors as there were for Multiverse of Madness. There's more. If anything, like Spider-Man Brand New Day is like that, where like every week we're getting a new like, oh, Sadie Sink's actually playing Peter Parker's long lost stepdaughter from another dimension, where he is a spider, and like, it's just a different thing every week.
Yeah,
And I'm like,
I'm
I'm
I'm just
over it.
waiting until the trailer drops with that one.
I think we'll
I
get a
mean, I ruined.
trailer. We'll get a trailer at Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think
That
so.
movie's
I
coming
mean, it
out
comes
this
out.
year, right?
Yeah, it comes out in like July or
Why
something.
are we getting trailers for Doomsday? Honestly, if it comes out in
Well, they're not
December,
trailers.
these are scenes from
They're
the movie, right?
stories. I don't think. I don't know.
These have to be scenes from the movie.
Because they said they're not trailers, they're not
Have
teasers,
we
they're stories.
have we talked about? Oh wait, something just clicked. Okay, wait a minute. I was gonna say, have we talked about the theory that Loki is hopping around getting these people to help fight Darkseid?
Dark Side or Doom?
Doom, yeah, Doom.
Okay. No.
Because I've seen that theory, and I'm like, I like that theory because I like Loki, so like let him be, as involved as possible for sure. But do you know what Loki's title is like now? That he's Yggdrasil?
He's not now the Watcher, is he?
No, he's the god of stories. He's Loki, the god of
Okay.
stories.
Yeah.
But if they're stories, that might lead a little bit more
Mm,
to that it's Loki connecting these things. Because
yeah.
Loki's going to be involved with this movie. I hope he's more involved than less. Um, what I'm
I
really
don't
worried
I
about
don't
is that they're going to kill him after, because like Loki season 2 ends his arc. So if you bring him back, you gotta have a good reason, and you do not ruin this. um, I don't like, but like I do kind of like the idea that Loki like shows up at Steve's house, and that's why Steve is like, okay, I got to get back into it because Loki's like, I need your help. There is like a multiversal level threat. Um,
and that would help because I don't want to see Steve because I don't know if this is maybe well, I think a big thing for me with the Steve part is because the way I've been coping with Endgame's time travel
in
is
games time travel's fine.
well the thing is yeah, I agree. But you know how people the one inconsistency that you could say is, as Hulk explains it, he says, you, when you go back in time, you're not going back to where you were, you're creating an alternate timeline, basically, is what he says. Like, and so with that logic, with Cap going back in time to take everything back and him staying behind creates an alternate timeline. So the Cap giving up his shield at the end game should not be him because that would be a Cap from a different timeline, not their Cap they just saw go.
But don't they? I don't think that
It's
that's
a
how that.
Cap that made the same decision, but
I don't.
it's a different
I
timeline.
don't think it because when you like basically when you go and put the stones back, I think it when you put the stone
I
back
don't
and,
think
and
so.
put stuff back to normal, I don't think that you're splitting the timelines. I don't think because also this happened before Loki. I don't think timelines started splitting until Loki.
Kang. I think he was
So like I think
controlled.
if they hadn't put the stones back and
No, they
fixed
were
that,
being weren't.
I
I
think that
think
the
they were
TVA
splitting.
would
They
have
were
gotten
just
involved.
controlled.
No,
Weren't they?
it was one
No?
timeline.
The sacred timeline.
Yeah.
Okay, but still though, that was how it was explained by Hulk in the movie.
Yes, but in the same movie, the the is it the ancient one? What is her name?
But still, him staying behind is a different course of action. That wouldn't
That would change
make it the
it.
same. So that's
Well,
why.
yeah. So
So when I see them showing these trailers, I'm like, well, him going back in time, like how are they going to do that? But the way you're talking about of it being Loki, that makes sense because Loki just could just pull you right out of your one timeline and probably put you in another, like with no changes, just for something specific. I don't know,
yeah,
but that would make more sense.
yeah, um, yeah. I mean, I guess what's bothered me with it is the fact that like I I feel like they're gonna have to explain how, or they're gonna have to make it believable that that there's stakes when it comes to Steve, because the fact that in game exist like that Steve, if that is our Steve, that Steve has already experienced Doomsday, right? Or is that not how time works? Like,
What do you mean?
because Steve is old, right? At the end of Endgame.
Yeah, you're right.
So, like, does he get pulled out to the present and then gets dropped back? So Steve survives Doomsday? Either way?
Because maybe he had his shield during that time as well, and he gets pulled by Loki, comes back, ages up when he's old, meets at the park to give it to Sam and them. He technically could have gone through Doomsday by the end scene in Endgame.
Maybe. Maybe.
That's
That that's
trippy.
that's
This
that's
is
that's what is in my head. Like, is
that's
this
kind of
has he already experienced
paradoxical.
Doomsday?
Yet it works.
In which case, why is he not like guys? Like, you're not gonna
Let's
believe
lock
this.
in.
Hold on, lock in. Yeah, something's coming. I don't know, man.
I don't
I feel like they're talking about like release. They are re-releasing in game in anticipation. I've heard that they're gonna like add another after credit scene or something to set up Doomsday, and I feel like that's gonna. I wouldn't be surprised if that ends up just being the teasers or whatever that they're doing right now. Like,
it. Yeah,
I
it
don't know.
kind of feels like a slap in the face that it's a continuation of Endgame when they've had like 10 years of content in between
They've
that
had
we're
like,
just supposed to
I
hate.
guess it's been like 6 or 7. Yeah, I
Endgame, I think, was 2018, wasn't it?
think it's 2019. Still,
Okay.
that's still like 7 years.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Man, I don't know. This movie could be real bad or it could be good. I don't know,
Yeah.
man.
All right.
It's rough.
I think they got something, but I think that's all the
What do you think is gonna be
topics.
better,
I just wanted
Doomsday or the whole Lord of the Rings franchise?
what's better.
Yeah, what's better?
Which one? How about I say which one I like better? I bet I'll enjoy and like better Doomsday,
Mm.
just because I don't, I like Lord of the Rings movies, but like they don't blow me away.
Is Lord of the Rings overrated or properly rated or
I think
underrated?
it's overrated.
Okay.
It's overrated. I think the Hobbits are underrated.
All right, and one more question: uh, is what is the best version of Star Wars and why is it Aragon? All right,
Star Wars?
yes, Aragon is closer to Star Wars than Lord of the Rings. Aragon is essentially fantasy Star Wars, but better
I
in every
guess.
way.
Okay.
It is. It is. It's
I
Star
was
Wars.
confused by that at
Yeah.
first.
Well,
Okay.
that's the point. But yeah, it was just kind of a joke to end off here. But yeah, it's fantasy Star Wars, but better. Um, so yeah. All right. Anything else before we head out? That good for today? We haven't really didn't really advance anything, but we talked about Lord of the Rings, talked about
Talked
Doomsday.
about fantasy and then we talked about Marvel. Yeah, I think that's all I got. If you guys got recommendations what you want to hear, let us know,
If there's
and we'll
any
talk about it.
if there's any Lord of
We're
the
hitting a
Rings
dry
fans
spell,
in the comments, let me know how stupid I am or how wrong I am.
and go watch Rings of Power before you hate on it.
And what's your favorite obscure Lord of the Rings or MCU fact? Something like super obscure, like not like Coulson didn't
Aragorn
actually
kicked
have the thing. Yeah, yeah, or not the Aragorn,
Ar-
not that one. You're not allowed to
Aragorn.
use that one.
Aragorn broke his toe
Yeah,
kicking the
not that
horse.
one. You can't use that one. Uh, or like your favorite obscure character that no one knows about. Like
Leopold
maybe you're
Fitzsimmons.
really into the innkeeper from Fellowship of the Ring. You know,
No,
like
Leopold Fitzsimmons
I
is
don't
the
know
best
I don't know
MCU
who
character of all time.
he's an MCU character. I don't know who that is.
Yeah, he's Agents of Shield, and he's up there with Tony for one of the best Marvel characters.
Interesting. Who is? Let us know in the comments, and also maybe or we'll leave this up, and then we'll answer it next time. But let us know in the comments who is the overall best character in the MCU.
That's not a question.
I'm between two. I'm between two answers, and I think that they're the only two acceptable answers. So, all right, we'll
Maybe
figure
we'll
that out.
debate that next time.
Yeah, we'll talk about that next time. All right. So this has been Mask and Cowl, 10th episode. Made it to episode 10. Lots more to go. So let us know what else we could talk about because we're gonna be hitting a dry spell. Give us topics that you want to hear us talk about. So all right, well, we'll see you guys next time. And I'm Justin, and we'll see you guys later. Peace out.
See you guys.